EVs, EVs, EVs. The question I'm asked all the time on all my walks, what's the range, which is the best one to buy, can I live with it? It's crazy.
So this walk is going to change that because we've got all the EVs that you can buy in India today across price point. And if they ask you a question, tell them to subscribe to the Top Gear channel. Look. So what we have today is all the EVs that you can buy in India from 12 lakhs to up to 1 crore. And we're going to answer the question, the most important question, the range anxiety, because we are taking all these bunch to Pune, and of course, we have to come back. So let's see what happens. We'll answer all the questions that are pretty pertinent in today's time and age. But before that, let's get started. So the first car we have picked is also the same car which gave us the highest bar on the anxiety level, because it is the entry point to the EV family, but it only has a claim range of 300 kilometers.
Maybe not achievable in our real world conditions with our kind of driving. It's got the smallest battery on this test, which is 26 kilowatt hours, but it is the lightest. So of course, acceleration will be good.
I think being an EV, the acceleration, everything is very instant and there's no noise. But I see a lot of cabin noise still there.
Right.
The size-wise is very compact. It's a car which is not going to be like very big on leg room, headroom, comfort room. But it's a very practical city car to have.
I think it's a practical city runabout.
Yeah, it's a car not that you really just wake up in the morning and take it for a spin. You have to take it to daily course.
It's a commute car.
It's a commute car.
Right. Ramesh, one thing I to notice, the overall fit, feel, finish. I mean, it leaves a lot to be desired. I know this comes at a price point, but you know, I think as a customer, I'm really picky about the way things work, the way things feel.
Sure.
Of course, you've got a nice system. You've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Yeah. You've got the basics. You know, you've got the basics sorted.
Correct.
Why don't you check out the legroom?
I'm already here. You know, the legroom is a comfortable place, enough knee room, decent headroom. I've got this nice central armrest. Cushioning is nice, despite the fact that this is I would say the smallest wheelbase car in this segment.
How is the ride comfort right now?
It's not bad. I mean,
Enjoying?
a little road noise, as you said,
Yes.
is a little high.
That is high, on the higher side.
But I think it's quite refined. It's comfortable. I don't mind being chauffeured.
For the price, it's a great deal, I think. You know.
For the price, yes, and for the EV experience, importantly.
Yeah, but I would rather pick a Nexon over this by paying extra couple of lakhs.
It's the faster car. So a Nexon, I think a 0 to 100 is almost under 10 seconds. This is almost 15 seconds.
Yes, correct.
But if you're not a speed demon, you want something practical for the family, low running cost, I think this is the car to at least experience.
The only test is if we can make it there and come back. And I'm sure you're enjoying being chauffeured around, but we have a job to do. Let's move to the MG.
Is that a CV?
Yes.
Yeah.
What a transition.
Wow.
The ZS EV feels like a real upgrade.
From the Tigor EV for sure. I mean, I have soft touch leather seats, panoramic sunroof.
But you also pay 2x.
SUV. Yeah, I mean, it starts at 21.08 lakhs, but for someone looking for a good mix of car and EV, I don't know, my first impression right now is this fits the bill.
Yeah, so you pay 2x, you also get the 2x battery at 46 kilowatt,
44.5
kilowatt. And of course, my range anxiety level is the best here because it's still showing me a good range of going to Pune, and maybe we can go to Mahabaleshwar. You never know.
Maybe, right?
Yeah.
Without charging.
It feels like that we are in a very nice car, feels plush. So this is one car that you can have as a solo car as an EV. If you are looking for a car, then this fits all the bill. It's not too expensive, but of course, you can buy 2 Tigor EVs for the price of one MGZ EV.
So that way you can buy 4 rickshaws for the price of one.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we can go on and on. But it's time for you to go back to the rear seat and...
Ramesh has been reading a lot, I must say.
Yeah.
Time to check out the legroom.
So how's the legroom?
Not bad. I think better than the Tigor. No comparison really, but better sense of space, nice headroom, nice window line. But there's no central armrest for the rear passengers here. Yeah.
Oh, that's a big miss.
Yeah, big miss.
So in terms of features, the infotainment system, right, it's very smartly stuck in the middle. So it's like a very good positioning, and even the driving wise, the steering has got a lot of functions. It's a very proper car. If you ask me, it's one car that you can have in your family as an EV,
Correct.
and you can live with it very happily. But I think the wheelbase is shorter, right?
Yeah,
Shorter than the Kona.
Correct.
And then maybe it's time to check out the Kona now.
Finally, back in the driver's seat with the Hyundai Kona, the one that we first drove at the Budh International Circuit.
Correct. And it's the first experience with the EV. So
Right.
first experience is always the first experience. And of course, that was a Budh International Circuit and EV. It was quite an experience.
And let me update you on that moment. It does not, the range has not changed.
Yeah, because the regen in the Hyundai Kona is one of the best systems, because I've been living with it for a long time now, and it really gives you a wider range every time you drive, and the regen system keeps throwing
You're
good
right.
figures at it.
So these paddle shifters here basically will help me increase the regen system.
Correct.
That's
correct.
nice.
And that's very intuitive. Also, it has a battery capacity of 39.2 kilowatt,
Which is lesser.
but the claim range is 452 kilometers, which is again higher than the MZ. Of course, it is a lighter car. It is 1.5 tons. That is that is 1650 kgs, I think, from 150
Right.
kgs less. But the interiors also is very un-Hyundai type.
Let
Don't you
me
feel
add
that?
something.
Yeah.
In terms of ride plushness and the way it feels, this car feels more sorted than the ZS in terms of the ride quality.
Yeah, can agree with you on that. In terms of looks, also it's very un-Hyundai types. From the front, it looks that very.
It's got that EV look with the fused bumpers and the lack of air intakes front and rear.
And even the interiors, these systems here, because we're used to Creta, Alcazar, all of them had very different system, and this is totally different. Though the new Kona which has come
Globally.
has got some mind-blowing features, but this is what we will live with it. So
But this is
what
very nimble to chuck. I mean, I must say it. I know I'm not supposed to speed, but the pickup is great.
It is great.
Feels very small to turn around. I think
And
as
for a couple of lakhs more than the MGZ, it's about 24-25 lakh rupees price point. It throws in a lot of things,
But
But
do you think this is the only car that you can live with, like the way you mentioned for the ZS?
yeah, but I think the perception is that when you buy an EV at that price point, that's what is taking a beating. If this car is available for 18-19 lakhs, then this would be like a
Yeah.
very good thing on the market. Of course, I would like it to be a little more bigger, because the boot is not that great,
Right.
and the rear seats, which have to go now.
Right. On that note,
On
we
that
should
note.
switch to Ramesh trying out the rear legroom.
So legroom is pretty decent. It's not the best. An ideal EV for me would be a Creta EV. Idealist EV. You have the best
I
of
agree.
everything
I agree.
and a price point of 18 lakhs. I think with that will arrive in the EV. If they can produce, they will sell out. Now, interesting thing, Roshan, they have a armrest.
Okay.
So one mark over the MGZ on that.
Right.
But the cabin is quite insulated. It doesn't make too much of noise.
Okay.
Ride quality is quite pliant. And
Are we seeing the panoramic sunroof?
of course, but it's not that big as a MGZ. It doesn't really.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have to do a comparison because they are closest at the price point level. It also has less power, but it's more torque. So it's a very interesting mix. But I think the new Kona would be a great answer.
Whoa!
Yeah, it feels great to jump from a 25 lakh rupees car to almost a crore car.
1 crore rupees EV. Wow.
99.3 lakhs.
What happened to the laddering between 25 to 1 crore? We don't have anything.
So there is one car which is just around the corner, the
Okay.
Volvo XC40 Recharge.
Of course, right.
I'm really looking forward to that because it's going to be slated right in the middle, around a 50 lakh price point, and that's going to be really a car which is just the car that you need, maybe a taste of luxury and
something that
more
we can
affordable.
afford.
You can afford this also, but let's move on from there. So surprisingly, this one also has a claimed range of 450 kilometer, just like the Kona, but it costs 4 times more.
Correct.
Of course, this
But
is
you've got the
Mercedes.
luxury. It's a Mercedes, right? And it's got the underpinnings of, I mean, what I would call it. It's beautiful design.
Beautiful design. And this was also the first luxury SUV, luxury
In the
EV
market.
SUV to be launched. Mercedes has really started the trend.
Right.
After that, e-tron and I-Pace and everything. Now we also have the Porsche Taycan, which is also around the corner. But then that's a different form factor. Roshan, still now, EQC has the highest number of torque. It's about 765 Nm of torque. And it's still got 402 brake horsepower.
And a 0 to 100 in 5.7 seconds.
Yes.
Which is really fast for an
That's very
SUV.
fast.
The only complaint I have
Yes.
is when you took that speed breaker and I
Uh-huh.
felt it through the bottom. Like the ground clearance, I think is crap.
Yeah, that is true. Ground clearance, because the battery pack is, stated.
But it's an SUV.
That's something that the Mercedes has an issue with, but
Right.
You can't get everything in life. This is it. This is a great space, and of course,
How is it to in terms of the steering feel? What do you think of it?
steering is very nice. Just like the
Is it too soft?
no, not really. It's quite
Weighs up fairly well.
quite connected. It feels. It's how a Mercedes
and the
steering.
acceleration?
Acceleration is
Like 0 to 100, you want to try it?
yeah. We can try,
Yeah,
but
we're not supposed
it's not
to.
the AMG feel.
Whoa, I think slow down, buddy.
Yeah. So, I was trying to give a regen system because in electric cars, the moment you lift off your accelerator, the leg from the accelerator, the automatic regen starts. And when you brake also, you will see that the brake is kind of a false for the first few seconds because, it's regenerating. So to sometimes brake harder if you want to very instantaneous stop.
Okay.
So you'll get used to that EV of life.
Rear seat?
Not required. We have a complete review of the EQC on the power icon. While you guys can click on the power icon, we can switch to the e-tron.
Check it out. e-tron, me driving. Dude, the e-tron feels like an interior which is super tech, like so many screens, crisp graphics.
Yeah.
It's like carved out of like.
Before we move further, let's take a look at how the Tigor EV boys are doing. Tigor EV calling. Yash,
Yes, sir.
how's it doing? How is your range anxiety?
Sir, to be honest, I was expecting it to be pretty bad, but it's doing pretty well. I'm at 43% charge right now, and the range is showing me 90, so most likely it looks like I'll make it.
Great, all the best.
Great, the boys are doing well, and it's showing me a 200-kilometer range, which keeps me anxiety-free.
Yes, because it has the biggest battery in its class.
Okay.
95 kilowatt. The
95.
I-Pace is 90 kilowatt and the EQC is 85
85.
kilowatt. It just like the price point, I think these guys have divided the price point with features right in the middle. For example, the wheelbase of e-tron sits right in the middle between the EQC and the I-Pace. It's a 2928.
And this is the longest car in its class. It's the tallest car, and I feel it's the most SUV-like. Just simply the way it's driving, I am not tensed about what pothole or what speed breaker I'm going to scrape my underbelly on. So I think that
Agreed. It's also the heaviest car. It's a
Superior on this one.
2.8 ton car, so that also counts.
that's a heavy car.
It's a heavy car to move
It
around.
feels heavy. It feels the weight,
It feels
These
heavy,
EVs,
but-
they just feel the weight. Like,
But then it's a proper SUV with a good boot and everything.
yeah, practicality. I think this scores the best.
Yeah.
I think it's quite sorted. It's not overtly firm. It's not overtly soft. It's a good balance.
Yeah.
Insulation is superb. I mean, road
Great.
noise, really. And see, now my range is increased. So it was showing, but in the middle it fell down to 197. Now it's back to 200.
The region.
That's
I spent
cool.
it.
That's cool.
Though we have reviewed this car and you can click on the pop icon and see the entire review, but since Roshan is driving, I might as well go back and enjoy the rear seat.
Yes, I think we should test it out.
Yeah.
Yes,
This
sir.
feels much plusher. Even the transmission tunnel is missing, so this means that the third person will also be comfortable. This is a very great. This is the same MLB Evo platform, which is the Q5, Q7. So we are all familiar with that. Surprisingly,
Okay.
armrest has become a important thing to talk about because after the ZS, why did the ZS guys don't have the armrest? It feels luxury. It feels luxury from every aspect, and it feels very plush. The temperature controls are right here. I think it's a great car to be in.
How's the sense of space? Is it better than the EQC?
Yes, I think it's a better sense of space than the EQC, definitely. Also, because of the lower ground clearance, the battery pack in the EQC takes a lot of space.
You must remember that this has got air suspension.
100%. The air suspension
makes a huge difference.
I think let's bend the cat and let's see at what pace is the I-Pace. Let's move to the Jaguar I-Pace. Please pull over.
Done.
So how's the leg room?
Leg room is nice, good knee room, good ankle room, armrest, and with the your seat is very big. It kind of intrudes my view. I'm not sitting very high like an SUV, like a proper SUV. It's more sporty the way this feels, and I like this fixed style of it's not.
Yeah, because it's not retractable. It's also the lightest in the segment. It's a 2.2 ton, and if adding a mechanism of a sunroof, will add weight to
Maybe
the
save
car.
weight.
Yes.
How's the drive?
Drive is very sporty. In fact, as you said, it's not a traditional SUV, so it's a very good position because it gives you that sedan and SUV kind of a crossover kind of a feel. Even the shape outside is very different. It's not a regular shape of any car that you will see in an EV.
True.
Longest battery in its segment, 90 kilowatt, and it's got a good range. And the range anxiety here is actually the best because e-tron and this both side together is still showing me a higher range. But we'll get to know all the details when we go to the battery, the next destination. But I-Pace overall is a good car. Of course, it's the most expensive in the segment, and it's a 1.10 crores plus showroom, etc. And
It's nice.
very expensive
And it
acquisition.
looks the most dynamic and also wild in this look. It's not unconventional, I would say.
Unconventional, definitely. It's not for everybody. If people want a very traditional, but if you're going to go for an EV right now, then this might just attract you a lot. But otherwise,
If you want to stand out, yeah, this is the choice.
it's your choice.
And it's the fastest. It's 0 to 100 in 4.8 seconds. That's
Yes, the e-tron does in 5.7 seconds and EQC does in 5.1 seconds. But the initial acceleration, even 0 to 100, in first surge is actually what gives you the kick, and that is in EV. It's instant. It's like the same everywhere. You will get that surge the moment you press the accelerator like this. But the I-Pace is a good car. So we have put everything on charge. This is on 7.4 kilowatt charging bay. The same one because these already have a lot of juice left. Audi e-tron has a charging bay on the side, and it looks kind of sleek because the way it slides out. The below is actually the 2-pin for DC charging. So in case you have a DC charging, this is all AC charging. So you actually put the entire thing together in the plug. So in case you're wondering, now MGZ has it in the front and kind of it glows in the night. It looks kind of very cool. So the EQC charging bay is on the side. You can see every other car, the charging bay is either in the front or on the side. The EQC is different. Now this is a GLC platform. So what I think is that the fuel pump they've basically converted to EV, or maybe they want to give a feel that it's like an EV. So that's why we had to reverse the car, and everything is being juiced up right now. Roshan, it's done?
Yep.
So while they are being juiced up, let's go and juice up ourselves.
So Ramesh, is your match done?
Yes, match done. So typically we had a 150 kilometer drive and we had a range depletion of about 180 kilometers. So safe to conclude on average, 20% is range depleted from every car, whatever
10
is
to
showing.
20%.
Yeah,
From
20%
what we
plus.
see on that gauge.
The anxiety meter level.
Anxiety meter.
So start with Tigor EV. We had put this on a 22 kilowatt charging bay, but it didn't support it. So we could only get about 40 kilometers in 1.5 hours of charging. Same with Kona. Kona could juice up to 90. We could get 90 kilometers, and MGZ also 90 kilometers.
In the 1.5 hour of charging.
Yes, but it was a charging on 7.1 kilowatt.
Right.
So in fact, it's a great.
So the new learning was DC and AC. AC supports fast. AC supports slow charging. DC supports fast charging.
AC is more the norm because in India
Correct,
we have DC charging.
So
not that
prepare
rampant.
for longer breaks or longer
Definitely.
charging durations.
Interestingly, e-tron and EQC with both charging on 7.1 kilowatt, we could only get 40 kilometers of juice. I-Pace could get about 50 kilometers. And they both are on, all of them have a similar battery backup. So very interesting, so in the sense that with 1.5 hour of lunch break, you could get on an average 50 kilometers anywhere you charge. If you get a fast charging cycle, you are very good.
But then you have to have a long lunch break.
Yes, you have to have a long break. So with EV life, you cannot live a bachelor life. You have to be very planned. You have to be a gentleman. You know where to go and where. But if you ask me, we are good to live in a EV world because
If
you're not.
only if you have a charger at home and a charger at your frequent place, whether it's your office or your factory.
Definitely. One more learning, that in commercial places the charging amount
Rate
is much
higher.
as 18
Correct.
rupees per thing, and some charging bays are working, some charging are not working.
There's
so you have
no
to factor
waiting
all of
also.
the, yes, you have to factor all of that. But give us 6 months to 1 year, I think we'll be there, you know,
Right.
and we'll live this, we're ready to live the EV life.
Right.
And if you want to see more where the road trip next is, because there's road trip, it's the first EV road trip where we could get all the 6 cars across range point. So we had our own learnings. For more,
Wait for more.